Hi, I need to talk to you, and I need to talk to you right now. So this is why reading is constantly changing my life. Okay, so I literally just decided to film this video right now, like literally just set up the camera and was like, okay, shoot, because I need to talk to you. I am feeling so deeply passionate about reading right now, and I just need to tell you why. I need to tell you about it. So first of all, if you don't know who I am, my name is Jessie. I'm 16 years old. I'm going to be 17 in about a month. I read all the time, but recently I have been slightly disconnected from my love for it because I've been assigned to read loads of books, and you know, like being told to read certain books at certain times kind of dulls your mood because like you already have books you want to read or that you feel like reading, or like a genre you specifically feel like reading, but then you end up having to read different things, throws you off, doesn't row your boat the right way. It's just a bit like not great. But anyway, I have actually found a lot of value in the books that I have been assigned to read, as well as books that I've just been reading for my own enjoyment, and also there's been so many books in the past for my own enjoyment that have deeply affected me, and I just want to talk about it because I think it's so important, and I think that like reading can genuinely change your life, and I'll tell you why. There are several reasons. I have no structure to this video, so I'm just gonna kind of tell you off the top of my head. First of all, reading opens your mind to a bunch of different perspectives. It's like reading, it's like living other people's lives through the material that you read. So you grow to understand people better. You're less judgmental because you, like, reading books breaks down the way other people think, whether it's characters or it's like a non-fiction book explaining actually psychologically how people think, but it's like it backs up people's mannerisms and behavior with like actual psychological reasons as to why they do it. It's usually reactions to things that are going on in their life that might not make any sense, but like basically the point is you grow to understand people better because you understand that we're all human, we all have our own problems, and it just like opens your mind up to that. And then also like reading opens your mind up to so many different perspectives, and it makes you think about things. Like it really makes you think about things. At least the way I read, I really absorb the material that I'm reading. I know a lot of people just read because like it's fun. Obviously I read because it's fun as well. Like I freaking love reading. It's my biggest hobby, but I also just take so many important lessons from reading, and from what I read I have changed, evolved as a person because of what I read in the best ways possible. Like I've become more understanding. I've also just become more knowledgeable and wise about things. I've definitely thought about things more. It's made me more of a deep thinker. Okay, really I just need to tell you about this one book that's just playing on my mind so much. So I actually had to read a book. It was for college, so it was assigned reading. And I'm actually going to go on to study it, which I'm very, very excited for. It's going to be so interesting. But this book is Never Let Me Go by Kazuo Ishiguro. I don't know how to pronounce it, but this book has like seriously affected me. So I finished reading it about like a month ago maybe, but like I have not stopped thinking about this book for so many reasons. I'm not going to spoil anything, but this book posed a lot of questions to me in my mind about like how we as humans treat other humans who are different to us, or other species that are different to us for that matter. How time can escape you, and it's important to act upon things that you feel when you feel them before it's too late. I think this book has shown me that there is such a thing as too late, and there is such a thing as like right person, wrong time. I don't know, I'm a bit confused about right person, wrong time. That's kind of a bit of a different conversation, but I'll tell you anyway. Basically I'm like, okay, so you can love a person, but like it can be the wrong time, in the sense that like you're not in a position where you can give them everything that you would like to give them in a relationship. But I also think that everything is supposed to happen when it happens, so therefore there's no such thing as the wrong time for anything to happen. Yeah, that's how I feel about it. But anyway, this book has just seriously made me question everything. It's made me think very deeply. It's about this woman like reflecting on her childhood, and she's kind of questioning like how things happened, what it means for her. Like, it's about her coming to terms with the way her life has panned out, and I just think it's been so interesting to read about, and it's really made me question so many things in my life, like even things that are irrelevant. Like, it's made my brain work in a different way, so that I've been like thinking of things that I don't really think about. Also, this book heavily is about memory. She's constantly throughout the book checking in with her memory, trying to work out what she remembers, what she doesn't, if things were like real or kind of perhaps like they didn't happen in quite the way she remembered it, or that she thought she remembered it. And I think it's really interesting as well, like so many times she's like, I think it happened like this, and I don't know, it's really got me in touch with my memory. Like, for some weird reason, it has enabled me to remember memories that I literally thought I'd forgotten. Like, I remembered last night, I was writing my diary until the wise 3 a.m. I was writing, and then I was writing about like all these like deep things, and I still have so much more to write. Like, it was barely scratched the surface. There's so much going on in my mind because of this book. Like, it's just genuinely changed the way I think, and it's kind of scaring me a tiny bit, because it's just like my mind is just literally on overdrive about every single thing that I could possibly ever think about. Like, all these questions I've had like my whole life, I'm just thinking about them all. Like, it's just crazy. But anyway, I was writing, and then I suddenly remembered this memory that I've forgotten for years. It was like, I barely remember it, but it was like in primary school, I was in the library with a couple of girls, and there was a teacher that came in, and we weren't supposed to be in there, and we hid behind this like bookcase, and then like we actually did manage to like hide in there and like sneak out without the teacher noticing. And I remember it being really successful. It was like in a movie, like we were like hiding and then managed to sneak out. It was crazy, and I don't know why I remembered it, but I did. I mean, I was reminiscing about primary school in the diary, but like, I don't know why that came into my head. But it's really interesting. I think it's really interesting. And it got me thinking, you know, I bet we actually remember everything, but like some stuff is just clouded over by other stuff. Like, I bet we do, like, have it in our brain somewhere. And then I actually saw a TikTok that was like, I think we store memories like either subconsciously or consciously. So like we have it in some like clouded part of our brain or some clear part of our brain. And that's basically like what I'm thinking, because I'm like, sometimes memories come back to you. It's like, well, where have they been all this time? Like, it's just funny. I think it's really funny. It's also made me think about my past a lot. It's made me reminisce even more than I already was. I reminisce all the time, but like in lockdown especially, I've been reminiscing so much. But then like even more recently, after I've read this book, it's just been on another level. Like, my mind is just going crazy all the time, and I'm asking so many questions to myself, and I'm just like, I'm literally questioning everything, but like not in a like obsessive way, just like in a really deep way. Like, I'm just thinking about all these things, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it must be like this, it must be like this. I'm just very confused, and I'm just like, it's so fascinating. I've also been questioning like why we as a human species are the way we are, and I just watched this video on book recommendations, and I'm like, I need to read Sapiens, like a study of humankind or something like that, because it's about like humankind's progression and like how, basically how we got to be the way we are, which is literally the question I've been asking. So I'm like, why don't I read this book? And because my mind is just like questioning so much at the moment, and I'm getting so many answers, like I'm coming up with so many answers, I'm speaking to my friends, I'm like delving right into my mind. I'm a wise person, like I can think about this stuff and like come to conclusions and stuff. I'm thinking about this stuff, and I'm like, I am really onto something. Like, I need to buy like 20 books and I need to read them, because right now my mind is in a position where like if I get the right information, I could literally change the world. Like, I swear. Like, I'm like, I'm just going crazy, and I haven't even scratched the surface, because off the top of my head it's not there, but like there are so many things that I've been thinking about that I know I could use in my life that could be valuable in a way that like if I get wisdom of this stuff, I read more and learn about this stuff that I'm questioning, I could change the lives around me by passing on the wisdom. And that's like what I want to do. Like that is one of my huge goals in life. That's what I want my legacy to be. I want to affect people. I want to affect people's minds the way they think. And reading helps me do that, because reading affects my mind. It gets into my head. It makes me think differently than I have ever before. And it makes me want to talk to other people about what I've learned and pass it on and open their mind and make them be like, whoa. Like I want to blow people's minds. Like that's what I want to do. I want to affect people. I've come to the understanding that I am an insignificant human being. Like we are all insignificant. We are so finite and temporary, and we don't live forever. And in the grand scheme of things, there are so many things that outlive us, like the trees, the earth itself, you know. We are just visiting for a very minimal amount of time. So I'm like, I understand that I'm not going to be Einstein necessarily, and I'm not going to be like able to affect every single person on planet Earth, but that's not what my goal is. My goal is to affect as many people as are around me. Like I want people around me to be affected by me. Like I want to touch people's minds and get into their heads like about things. Like I don't mean that in a like cunning way. I mean like I want to like make people think about things. Like that's what I really want to do. I want to provoke people's thoughts. I want to make people question things, because I think it's important. Like especially our generation, I feel like we're very lazy. Like we don't think about things to a degree that we should. We have the ability to question so many things, be curious, and I think being curious is such a like attractive and rare quality to have nowadays. Like I don't really know anyone who's curious apart from myself, literally. Like I don't see anybody else around me asking these questions. Like I see it online, but I don't see it like around me. I don't see people asking me all these questions. And like, well, there's a couple people obviously, but like, I'm just like, I'm asking these questions. I want to go get these answers, and I want to pass them on to people, because even though life is temporary and insignificant and small, and even though we are literally just people, we don't matter like this great amount, but we do at the same time. Exactly, like we do at the same time. So I feel like while we're on earth, our quality of life can be improved by how we think. And I feel like to think and to question can lead to answers and a greater understanding, and can make you more content in life. And I think the mind is so powerful. Like it is so powerful. And if we think the right things and we question the right things and we seek the answers in the right way, we can change our minds. We can change our world, if not the world in general. And I just think it's so interesting. Like the stuff I'm reading into, the stuff I'm learning about is so deeply interesting. Like I am so passionate and so interested by the human mind. So interested by it. Like so interested by it. Like genuinely, it's one of the things that interests me the most. It has for years. I've been like, I find it so interesting how we think in this way and how we act upon our thoughts in this way. I just think it's so bizarre. Like the fact that we even exist is bizarre, but like the fact that we think is even more bizarre. I'm just like, I don't even know. And we have individuality and all our thoughts are individual, and it's just like, it's crazy. So I really want to delve into that. Also, I think memory and the ability to retain information and be able to picture memories in your head is absolutely mind-boggling. I actually think it's one of the craziest concepts in the whole world. It's just like, how can we do that? And sometimes I question if memories are even real, because I'm like, sometimes I get into these states of feeling so present that I'm like, how did anything else exist before this? Like these memories, maybe I'm like wired in a way to make me think that I'm a human being who's had a life, who's had these memories, and I can play them in my head like a reel on like a TV screen in my head, but like I actually only exist now. And I kind of like don't believe that, because then I'm like, well, I did go to the shops yesterday. I didn't, but like, for example, I did go to the shops yesterday, so like obviously I have the memory of that and it's true, it happened. But like, did it happen? Like, I don't know. I'm just, that's what I mean. I'm questioning everything. I'm like, but did I have that friend? Did I go to primary school? Did I exist yesterday? Did I? Like, I don't know. I know that probably sounds absolutely crazy, but it's kind of like the concept of like being in like a simulation, it's kind of like that. Like you're programmed to believe that things are normal, or that you've had these experiences, but you might not have. It's just so weird. Like it's so weird. Like I am going out of my mind. I'm not. I feel pretty sane, but at the same time, I'm digging so much into things. Into the human mind, the world and the way it is, the way humans are. I find the human race extremely interesting. Like, we take ourselves very seriously as a human race. Like, I was thinking about it, like, I can imagine like politicians in a boardroom like having a meeting. And I'm just like, why do we do that? Like, I kind of know why we do that, because like obviously we have that part of our brain, right? We have this part of our brain, I don't remember what it's called, but we have this part of our brain that is removed from the subconscious, and it's like this part of the brain that is just like what we want to do before we're told what is right and wrong. Before we have an idea of what is right and wrong, what do we want to do? Well, when we're angry, for example, we might want to hit somebody, but then we know that that's not the right thing to do. So as we grow up, like, our mind is programmed to like not even really consider it. But like, if our mind wasn't programmed to do that, I feel like we would, and we'd be like, we just would do it. We didn't even really think about it. Like, we're wired in a way where we think about things we do, but what if we didn't? Then what would we do? Like, that's what I find really interesting. If we didn't think about it and question it, like if we didn't have the human reasoning and logic, what would we do? Because aren't we just animals at the end of the day? Like, aren't we naturally wanting to like kill? I mean, I don't really want to kill, but like, do you know what I mean? Like, if we weren't taught by older generations what is the correct way to treat others, what would we do? I'm leaving that question in the air as if it's going to have a profound impact on you. Maybe it won't, but maybe you're thinking about it like I am. If you are, we're on the same wavelength, like we're on the same vibration, we are thinking the same, we got similar minds. Yeah, cool. I hope I made you think. I hope I did. But it's just like, it's crazy. I've also been thinking about like how, yeah, this is another thing that Never Let Me Go made me think of. It's like everything we do is like copied or inspired by what other people do around us. We have this idea of what a relationship is and what it's supposed to be, like late night drives, face masks. It's like supposed to be this thing. Like, it's basically like pictures on Pinterest. Like, that's what a relationship is. But no, that's not what a relationship is. That's not what a relationship is. I think what love is, I mean, I don't really know, but like from what I think about love and about relationships is that it's like your soul yearns for their soul. It's like the souls meet and it like clicks and you understand that you were supposed to meet their soul. I think, like, I don't know, that was kind of sidetracked. I'm very confused. I'll get back to you on that. I'll talk to you about it some other time, about what I think about love. I'm very unsure of it. I don't have the experience to base it off of, so I don't know. But do you have to have experience to know what things are like? Kind of, yeah, to a degree. But I think you can kind of have your own idea of what stuff is like that anyway. But I think also we copy people in like the sense, it's even in the sense that like we pick up people's accents, we pick up people's mannerisms, we look at what the majority of people are doing and consider it the right thing. We consider it like, oh, that's what I'm supposed to be doing. Supposed to be doing. Supposed to be doing. What are you supposed to be doing? Why is there this one fixed right way to be? Why is there a beauty standard? Why did that ever come about? why are we shallow as a human race? Why do people make adverts to profit off of people's insecurities? Make people feel insecure so that they want to buy your product. Why do we do that? Like, why? Well, I think why is you make people's minds weaker. You make them question like, oh, am I good enough? Then it makes them want to buy your product to make them look better or make them look more similar to what society's idea of beauty is. The standards, right? So then when you're feeding people's minds that they're not good enough, it makes their minds more easily penetrable because you're like, I feel like naturally we think we're good enough. We naturally, when we're young, we don't think about like, oh, I'm not pretty enough. We don't think about it because you don't need to think about it. Like, it's not a real issue. Like, you don't think of it like that. So it's like, why do we? Because we're told by media that we're supposed to be a different way than we are. Our natural selves isn't good enough. We have to change ourselves in this way. We have to do this to be better, or to look better, or to please people. To please people who are going to look at us. We have to be a walking art gallery, a museum for people to look at. Why do we have to be like that? You don't. But you're fed the idea that you do, so then you act upon that, and you present yourself in a certain way that is going to cause people to compliment you. And why? Because it makes you feel good about yourself. Because we're programmed to be insecure because we're told that we're not good enough. Right? Like, we're told that we're not supposed to be that way. But, like, actually, you are supposed to be exactly as you are. Who you are exactly as you are is enough. You are beautiful as you are. You don't have to be what someone else wants you to be in order to be good enough. So anyway, I think that weakening your mind and making it more vulnerable makes it easier for people to trick you into making you think you need this product or you need this thing to make yourself better. And so then you buy the product and you get money. Why are we so money hungry that we are willing to do that to other humans in order to get money? Like, why? Why do we do that? I just think it's interesting because, like, surely it shows how there is a layer of us that is very selfish and not considerate of people and feelings. When you are doing that with a product, you're not considering people's feelings. Or maybe you are, but you're considering it in a way to make people feel a certain way in order to buy your product. And you're not thinking about their feelings as in like, oh, but what if I hurt them? By the way, just want to say, these are all ideas. I'm not trying to say that this is right. I don't know what is right. I literally don't. These are my ideas. This is where my thoughts have been going. I'm sharing my thoughts because I think it's important to do that. I want to share my thoughts. That's what I want to do in my life. That's what I want to leave behind, but it's also what I want to carry with me, like a slug. Like that, I want that to be the trail that I leave in my wake. Like, that's what I want to do to people, is make them think. I'm very passionate about the mind. Like, my mind is my favorite aspect of, like, humans. Like, not the heart or the soul. I think the soul is us. I think we are the soul. But you know what as well? We take ourselves so seriously that, like, we stay with the soul. We stay, like, because we are the soul, but it's like, or at least I believe with the soul, but it's like, we're not just the soul of a specific human being. We are a form of life. I feel like looking at it like that puts it in perspective. It makes it seem like us as people, like, personally, does not make us some, like, godly being, or, like, I'm not making sense, but, like, basically what I'm trying to say is, when you look at yourself as a life form in general, you see yourself as part of the universe, of the earth, of soil, of land, of the sun, the stars, the sea, water, soil, moss, grass, plants. You see yourself as, like, a contribution to what life is, to what the realm of existence is. when we look at ourselves as like the soul or the mind or the heart, we're thinking of ourselves in a way that humanizes us, which is obviously like natural to think that way because we are human, but like it's also a way of thinking that kind of like causes you to view yourself as like very significant, like as if my very existence causes the earth to spin around. Like, no, it doesn't. Maybe I'm going really far. I don't know what I'm actually saying. Not really sure how to collect my exact thoughts on that one, but maybe that made a bit of sense to you. Maybe I'm provoking your thoughts. I don't know. I hope I am, but I don't know. But yeah, I'm just questioning everything, being very deeply interested and confused by everything. I've started to question why we think the way we do, why we act the way we act, why we interact the way we interact, why we believe the things we believe, why we're individual, why, literally why everything, just why, and how. Well, I mean, how we came to be, that's a completely different kind of question, but like, I'm just questioning everything, and I think you should question more as well. Be curious. There's a wasp outside my window. Hello. Okay, so I hope that this plays on your mind like it's playing the frick out of mine. But yeah, I will see you in my next video. Thank you for watching. If you made it to here, please let me know how you think, what you're thinking about this stuff. I talked about a lot in this video, but yeah, I will see you